All right, guys, we are live. Give me one sec. I need to change the battery in my headset. One second. All right, testing, testing, testing. Can you hear me?
Yes, everything good. You want
Cool.
to share your screen, sir?
Yeah, let me do that. And then I need to get into WAP real quick. Did we start that yet?
Yes, it's in the
Admin.
chat.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you, sir. For some reason, your link isn't working for me. Oh, wait. There we go. All right, I think we got it. Good morning, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Space Monkey, let's go ahead, get started.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, so first off, let's start with futures. J Money, gonna run through the futures overnight action. Quite a lot going on. So give us a little bit of a breakdown.
Yeah, actually, tons of movement overnight on ES. So we actually failed that 6,800 area that we held multiple times yesterday. So a little bit of a liquidation overnight after 6,800 failed. We got all the way down into 6,751 on ES, which held. But the main context for this morning is that we've retraced the entire liquidation. We've back tested 6,800, and now we're trying to clear that. So there's potential for an offsides move. If we clear 6,800, then most of the short participants from overnight are going to be offsides, which would favor continuation up. So right into the open, we're sitting on SPX right at about 67.70, 67.75, and we'll see if we're able to hold above and clear that 75 to 80 area this morning for continuation up. Otherwise, we have kind of a smaller range for the morning session potentially from 67.55 to that 67.75, and really sellers will have to get back underneath 67.55 and kind of hold below that area in order to attempt to kind of rotate back down the overnight range towards the overnight low. So that's where we're sitting into the open. And I would say that it favors, the fact that we got this liquidation, the entire thing is retraced overnight, and multiple areas have been reclaimed by buyers. So I would put buyers in control for the moment, and shorts are at risk of being offsides.
What would be the levels that you would take a new long off?
New longs are a little bit difficult. We're up, over 50 points from the overnight lows, and we've had about 3 long setups since then. So, really the only long opportunity for me would be a back test of 67.55 on SPX, something like that. Unfortunately, with all the volatility overnight and the large overnight move, new entries are pretty difficult at this spot if we don't get a pullback. Otherwise, we're kind of set to just hold a runner, and we are long from 87 on ES, and hopefully can continue to hold that runner.
Cool. Thank you. All right, Ivy. Good morning, sir. What are you
Good
watching?
morning.
What are you watching this morning regarding positioning and gamma and all that jazz?
So we're pretty much sitting right at the key transition zone, which is right around 6670. We are sitting in negative dealer delta exposure, which is between the zone of 6670 to 6800. Then we have a positive dealer exposure zone at 6750. And essentially, what this means is that dealers remain short delta in the 6670 to 6800 range, meaning they are forced to buy strength and sell weakness, and this creates unstable but momentum driven flow. Below 6750, they flip into long delta, which brings stabilizing hedging. So that means that 6750 will be very supportive until it breaks, right? So in short, we're sitting right on the handoff between the chase mode and support mode. And I'm actually expecting reactive price action here due to how high the volatility is this morning. So pretty much wait and see which side gives out. If we're able to sustain the 6670, 6675 range, we could see a potential squeeze to 6800. And if we break 6800, then I think 6820 is certainly in play, as dealers will have to be chasing their short delta, meaning that they'll be forced to buy. However, if we start moving lower, then I would watch that 6750 for support at first, and if it breaks, then I think we could essentially move lower. One thing to note, I did see this morning something related to Trump insinuating the fact that the government is shut down and is bringing weakness to the market and to expect more. So usually that's, when Trump says something like that, you want to listen to what he's saying, because I remember back in April when he said this is a great time to buy. It literally marked the low, right? So I would just be cautious, that's all.
Thank you. I just want to add some color to some of the levels that you mentioned, Ivy, if I may, just kind of reference points that actually match my SPX chart. So first off, you're talking about the 6750. 6750 lines up very nicely with that 20-day moving average on SPX, as well as the top of a balance area that we were in kind of towards that 20th of October, 21st, 22nd, 23rd. Also, 6765, a level that we talked about yesterday, that's a previous all-time high that once we broke above October 24th of this year, we saw a nice new all-time high. And so those two reference points are very, very important and lines up with what you're saying. And yeah, 6820 I think is important, right? That's the area which we back tested yesterday, and we were not able to find buyers there. It was the low of the previous 3 days, so Thursday, Friday, and this Monday, and then we finally broke it yesterday, so a big push lower. All right,
Yep.
Matej, good morning. I don't know if you want to add anything to SPX or any of the indices. Otherwise, are you seeing any top-ups for this morning?
Yeah, good morning. No, won't add anything other than, the landscape, as Ivy mentioned, is pretty wide open. So you typically expect that when the VIX is elevated and we're moving, more than 1% yesterday. So expect volatility, expect the range to be expanded a bit. Just from a fundamental level, I think this, when you have an outside day and then close on the lows, it's very common to gap, but the gap and recover, which if you look at the ES daily candle, like we were talking about in the prep earlier this morning, is pretty common for a reversal. So as long as that stays active, like J Money said, I think the market can offer a way to simplify today. So I'll be watching it directly, especially given the landscape. So, when we approach the day, or we ask the question, are stocks in play or is the market in play? Sometimes a little bit of both, but today, more commonly, the individual names are in play. And today, given the movement and volatility in the market, I think the overall market can be a way to simplify. So whether that's SPX, QQQ, SPY, IWM, however you want to get involved, I think it can provide some good opportunity. So outside of that, I'm just going to be watching the board setup. I think Uber is a nice, pretty straightforward continuation setup. So it's a very textbook play. It also happens to be right at that 20-day moving average was a high from yesterday. And so it's been in a very difficult channel on the higher time frame. It's rejected 100 several times. And then actually on this earnings yesterday, broke a pretty big trend line, broke that channel, but recovered it, put in a huge failed breakdown and closed on the highs. So that close on the highs is a very good indication of continuation. The only risk really on a day like today, after a day like yesterday, is getting caught in an inside day or chop. So the way I look to trade that is, as long as it's holding over that prior day high and defending, It's just a straightforward continuation trade where you look for a trend and reference any resistance above. So for that, 97 is the closest that I would consider as like a target for the session.
Awesome. Any other names that you want to run through, or should I just go through the other names in the watch
No,
list?
we can go through the list, but I will just remind people I'm keeping a really close pulse on just the overall market, but some of the frothier areas of the market, which we will talk about, at least Oklo, but like Oklo, IonQ, some of these names, if this, I mentioned this yesterday, if this is quote unquote real and we get some like real selling in the market beyond just a couple percent, those names now, given the bit of a shift in sentiment that's possible, could be some really, really good opportunities to the downside, but it still remains to be seen. We've, seen one day of selling. One day is not a trend, and every single other dip this year has been bought up pretty aggressively ever since April. So, it's buy the dip until proven wrong. But if that does, play out, I'm watching very closely. And one thing that I think can act as a signal for that is actually PLTR. So, PLTR has been aggressively bought every single time it tries to dip this year. And it just has never really gotten any follow through. And I think that can really act as a signal as we kind of navigate the days to come. So I'll be watching. I'm kind of in a watch and observation mode, if that makes sense, for some of these bigger top ops.
Yeah, for sure. I don't want to. I think you finished there, right? Unless
Yep,
you just
I'm
dropped
done.
off. I just want to make sure. Okay, cool. All right, cool. All right, let's run through some names, and then we'll get to Sarang afterwards for his analysis, and then get to member questions for some of the charts that they're looking at. All right, so yeah, side watch, right? We have PLTR. You mentioned it. Below 185 could be interesting to see if we can get a continuation. Watching 180 puts for that. PLTR, obviously, day 3 after earnings, I guess. And it would be interesting to see what happens. There is a risk that we can put in a little bit of an inside day because we're kind of smack in the middle between the 9-day and the 20-day moving average, the 185, 50, and 193. And that zone has been acting as support and resistance in the past. So I'd be curious to see what happens there. But PLTR is going to be interesting. I think it's going to be a little bit more of a kind of tone setter as we move forward. Meta be next. And so Meta on the daily, as you can see, every bar breaks the previous day low. And so we're one time framing lower on that, meaning, you can always watch that previous day low for that continuation move lower. Okay. The one thing I would say about Meta here is that we're approaching pretty good support, I would say, before a gap. So the support zone I'm looking at is around 623 and then 620. If that breaks, I think we could see a gap fill lower towards that 600. So I think the better put play here would be to wait for that 620 to break for that 600 move. Okay, so that could come, today or come in the next few days. We'll see. Otherwise, this could be a good zone to watch, a little bit of a dead cat bounce. If you look on the daily RSI, it's extremely oversold. I'm not saying that that's any reason to bounce, but often we see a small bounce when that reaches these levels. It's actually the most that's been oversold this year, I believe. And even last year, we didn't reach these levels. It's at 9. So this comes off the back of a negative catalyst, which is earnings. And so, things can move more than you think, but I always like to watch this. I think there was an instance last week where we had Oklo bouncing for a couple of days because it was oversold, and it wasn't even oversold like this. So just as an aside. So Meta, maybe we can see a bounce above 633. 633 could get you 650 perhaps. So something we'll watch. But yeah, 620 downside, and we'll watch the upside depending on the momentum. Now, banks saw some strength yesterday. At some point, we had JPM, Goldman Sachs, we have Bank of America, we had MS. They were all moving really nicely. And, the close on many of these were kind of like a nothing burger, almost kind of middle of the range. But considering SPX closed near the lows, I would say there's some relative strength over here. So let's watch GS today. GS 825. So I think you have a little typo here. I think we have a little typo in the watch list.
Oh,
820
807.
calls above.
Yeah, 807 is what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, so 820
Yesterday's
calls
highs.
above. Yeah, so yesterday's highs could be watched with an 820 call on GS. And so the idea here is that we break yesterday's highs. We're breaking out of this range that we've been in over the last few days. It's also a really nice, I would say, pennant, bullish pennant that we're building here over the last couple of days. And so it would be a nice little continuation higher. So let's watch those 820 calls above 807. And yeah, let's see if we can get some continued strength in some of these banks. And I would say, just as an overarching idea or thought or insight, when banks are running strong, I'm having a hard time shorting, with confidence. I would need to see the banks start showing some relative weakness, in addition to tech, obviously, to see a bigger pullback. But yeah, let's just see. Let's wait and see. Now, one of my top ops today, I would say, is Eli Lilly, right? The opposite of Meta. Meta was one-time framing to the downside. This one is one-time framing to the upside. You notice that the last 1, 2, 3 days, we've broken the previous day high, and we're seeing some real nice kind of breadth, right? The range every day is pretty wide on Eli Lilly. And yesterday we did something that is pretty important, which is close above 900. The best thing to do here today would be to see, look at a couple of things. One, do we hold where we close? So 906, 907, that needs to hold. Otherwise, we can revisit 900. If we can hold yesterday's highs, or if we can accelerate off of yesterday's highs around 915, we should be able to move towards that 936, 940 area, which I would call a pretty big supply area. We'll have some big sellers up there, because if you look to the left on the daily, you'll see we have a lot of activity here. So they're going to try to sell into that. And only if we recover this 940 area can we see a push towards all-time highs. But the momentum is here. There are some positive headlines, good earnings. So all of that is making me interested in watching Eli Lilly. Now, Lemonade, LMND, is gapping up, right? It's gapping up, and worth noting how on the daily, it's gapping up outside of this, what I would say, a consolidation area or a bounce area on the daily, which we have been in since the last earnings report. So we just had earnings, and we're gapping up 15 points, right? Couple of things. One, do we hold a 64 back test? 64 area to 60 area, that's a must-hold back test. As always, with the breakout of balance areas, you want to go with the direction of the balance area. But if we start giving back some profit here, the must-hold must be 60, 64 zone. That would be your little dip buy if you're looking for that. So that's the higher time frame, what I'm looking for this one. Obviously, this one is a little bit of a squeeze candidate as well, and one to watch for a push towards 72, 73 area above yesterday's highs. Now, if you look on the 10-minute chart or the lower time frame, you can see that the overnight high is 69, right? And we're trading around 68. So, as always with these, and maybe Mateo, you want to give some insight into this, it's like, if we break the overnight high, 69, you want to watch for that volume. You want to watch for that velocity. You want to go with it, right? The question is, how are we looking on the RSI? Are we overbought? Is there an open drive? I don't know, Mateo, do you have any kind of input on that?
Yeah, I do. So it's pretty hot right now. The thing that, technically, for what we normally look at, not so much. At least right now, we still have 10 minutes. It could get like a quick reset, and if anything, it would be an aggressive opening drive above this 66.40. You wouldn't want any tick below that. The nuance I'd add to this one is the short float is like 25%. So the squeeze potential in this name is higher. Sarang will probably have some things to say about this one. He follows it, I would say, more consistently than I do, but it has squeeze potential. If you look back at the history, obviously, you can see it's made some pretty intense moves. So the reason I add that context is because while the opening drive isn't as textbook as we normally would want, this could just move very, very quickly and then reset higher because of that squeeze potential. Best case, to get involved, easier trade would be a give and go. If you do get that 64 back test, as you mentioned, consolidate for a little bit, or just sweep lower and turn aggressively, could be a way to trade it. So,
right, cool. Yep, just give me a second here, guys. I'm trying to get some stuff in order. Okay, just time check. We do have less than 9 minutes to go here before the open, so I just want to make sure we're running through all this list. So AMD is what we call an offside play. We want to watch for that red to green off the open. This one had earnings gap down, coming back nicely off the lows around 235.50. So let's see what happens. There's some support around 240, 241. If we dip, that needs to hold. If that breaks, I'm anticipating a push towards overnight lows. If we see a little bit of a dip and push higher, I would want to see a red to green move, and then we can get a little bit of a chase, I would say. There's some resistance around 255 above. Oklo is a pretty good downside play, I would say. Oklo, you mentioned it earlier, watching these more frothy names, more, I guess, high risk, names that we've seen just go ballistic higher. I would say this Oklo 112 area could be something to watch for a move down to 108, 109. I think there's some support there. But if that breaks, I'm anticipating 100. Now, considering the nature of this name, that 108, 109 could just break and push lower. So we'll watch that. All right. With that, Sarang, good morning. Just let us know what you're watching. And then meanwhile, all members, please post the stocks that you want us to take a look at. And we'll try to review those before the open.
Hey, Space Monkey, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Yeah, so I'm watching couple of name. The first one on the list is the spot. Actually, yesterday the 619 to 620 area which hold a couple of time. So what I will be watching is how the stock react around this 619 to 620 area. So if we see some kind of a basing around that area and then break maybe after 5-10 minutes, then I like to play the short on the spot. That's one thing. And second thing I'm watching is UPST. UPST earning was not good, so we'll watch how the stock react around 41 to 42 area. If you see some kind of a front side short around this area, I'll be watching it, or maybe below 38. So below 38, I don't see much of EV. Maybe we'll be targeting 36 is my target on the UPST. But if I see, let's say, a quick pop above 41, 42 area and then move down, I might take a short on that one. Third thing I'm watching is the AMD. I think you mentioned 240 to 241 area is the key area to hold.
Yeah.
Probably I'm not interested for upside, but yeah, if we see some kind of a base, the way it had in the pre-market around 240 to 241 area, and then if we break, probably I'll be taking a short on that, targeting 235 or to market low like 235 area. That's the target, I would say.
Yep.
And last one is like LMND. LMND, yeah, I think this stock is tricky to trade at the open, so just wait how the stock react maybe for 5-10 minutes, and the orb entry generally works good for upside as well as downside. So purely based on the earning was not that impressive to make a move, maybe like 16-17% move, but it made the more than implied move. So probably I'm thinking like it's just a short covering might be. So what I'll be watching is the 64 area is the key area to hold, and if we hold the key area and break the orb entry, yeah, then we can play a call, maybe a short squeeze targeting 71 to 72. But if we are not able to hold 64, then the stock is probably going to fade. So probably 60 and maybe potentially lower to 56 as well.
Fantastic. Yeah, some good names there. AMD has not tested the 20-day moving average, which is around that 241 on the daily since we recovered it and moved above, which initiated the squeeze into new all-time highs from September 25 of this year. So that 20-day moving average is going to be tricky to break it, but something to watch. All right. Thank you, Sarang, as always. And for everybody kind of joining us here in the live, we do have a few different analysts. Ivy is one of them. Sarang, TC, they'll have their own channels in the Discord. So there's there's something for everybody when it comes to the stylistically how you like to trade and who to follow. Sarang, thank you. All right, let's go through some names here. Let's take a look at Hood first. And I'm gonna run through a few things here for a couple minutes only. I want to get myself situated here for the open. All right, Hood holding up really nicely. It's green, up almost 3%. Earnings is tonight. So, we'll watch that. I don't know. It was a pretty ugly day yesterday. I don't like to trade these names into earnings, but we'll watch them afterwards. I think this one could be interesting tomorrow. Let's take a look at Tesla. Right, Tesla had a really nice push yesterday to 460, got rejected, and then closed near the lows. That low is near that 20-day moving average. It's had many tests. Right, it's also around where that high of 45, which acted as resistance for quite a while, and then we finally broke above into new highs. And so I would say there's a lot of kind of things lining up around yesterday's lows. Now to the upside, I don't see much unless we break 470, 472. At least that's the best trade to the upside. TEM. TEM is within the offside play, but it's not offside because the earnings is to... Oh, it was last night. Okay. So yes, so TEM, Tempus AI. It is down a bit. As far as earnings, I haven't looked through the earnings, but looks like they beat both. So far, so good. I would watch yesterday's lows, 80, 83 or so, and then if you can flip red to green quickly within the first 10 minutes, it could be potentially one of those like offset plays that we watch. So TEM is pretty good. Very nice suggestion. ANET, gapping down pretty big. Not a whole lot there. I would say front side short 146.50. Above could be bullish. Below could be a nice entry for short. ALAB. Another one that had earnings yesterday. ALAB is up slightly. It needs to hold yesterday's lows, otherwise could be an ugly downside day there. Couple more, guys. SMCI down after earnings. This has to be a front side. Pretty ugly earnings, I would say. Watch 46, 46.86 zone. And lastly here, UNH, guys. I'm sorry, I can't get to everything. I would say it needs to hold this 327. Otherwise, there's a small gap below that we could fill. That is it. That is it. Okay. I would say Oracle is another name that I want to bring to everybody's attention. It's very close to filling that gap, that huge gap that we left behind on that September 9-10. And so after gap fill, you want to watch for a bounce. Something to add an alert to. Do we have a focus list, Mate? Yes, we do. Off the open, we'll watch SPX, Uber setups. Sounds good. Yeah. I'll watch Eli Lilly too on the side.
Yeah, I was just going to say while we are 20 seconds from the open here for those that are maybe new, we go through a lot to give as much information as possible, but then we dial into a couple names that we're going to focus on the open and then just pivot to the rest of the watch list as we see what price does. So let price lead, pivot as needed, and go from there. Market is open.
AMD, nice little pop. Tesla's looking pretty strong here off the open. 453, could see 460 plus above.
The dip and rip attempt on Uber here, watching 96 calls.
Tesla extremely strong here. BE, nice run higher. That's an energy play.
VIX still a 19 handle, so just under that 20. But
Watch AMD, guys. All right, seeing some weakness in NVIDIA here. McDonald's back to 300. Bot rejecting 630. Guys, Eli Lilly's trying to dip below yesterday's lows and recover here. Let's watch it. Eli Lilly. AMD feels like it wants to at least test the red to green.
So I'm watching a small position on Uber. If it tries to turn, it'll be a little bit higher risk entry off the dip, but better reward.
Watch PLTR strong rejection of 190 area.
A lot of premium came into that 250 call AMD, guys, since mentioning.
Yeah, nice. It's about to go off sides here.
This is to be expected, and then you want to see that red to green hold. Guys, Eli Lilly continuation play above yesterday's high. Something to watch, targeting that 932, 935 PM highs. Eli Lilly 920, guys. Eli Lilly looks very, very nice.
Guys, I'm getting long the 96 calls on Uber. 91 cents for the small count challenge, 4 contracts. Relatively small position. The risk is an inside day, but if it holds this pre-market structure, look through a turn through 95. Stop around 92.50, 92.40.
A-Lab downside. Watching Eli Lilly here. It's just premium is very expensive. A bit too expensive.
Pretty bullish RSI on Lilly here.
Oh, really? Up here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, the 30-minute, yeah. Yeah, and even the 15, yeah, it's still
Okay.
pretty recent.
Alright.
Has energy.
Okay, 970s I'm watching. No, not 960.
You want to see it hold over 900 to be valid.
Yeah.
So on this opening dip, it was 8 points above 900 and more oversold.
Yeah. Pull PLTR very weak, guys, breaking lower here.
A pretty good front side short on PLTR. 190 rejection.
Yeah, PM high.
Yep.
All right, 980 is looking the best upside Eli Lilly. It's just a little too expensive. Not loving that.
ATR is 931 plus 1.
Okay. Okay, so that's like PM high, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not loving SPX tagging yesterday's lows here. 67, 64 and change his previous all-time highs. SPX needs to hold. 67, 48 below. Eli Lilly. McDonald's, big bounce. McDonald's, guys. We're seeing some rotation.
I sold the PLTR 180 puts that we got in on Monday for the small account challenge, up $950 on the 5K account challenge.
Well done, mate.
Nice.
It's beautiful. Eli Lilly is popping here, guys. Beautiful. Dip below yesterday's highs, recovery, go. That's perfect playbook play. I don't know that RSI was bullish. Otherwise, I would have taken it, actually.
Yeah, the better entry is on the turn for sure. Now that ATR is 931, the risk reward feels a little bit harder, unless it just rips right through 931.
I mean, it might. It's just like it's 60 points up. They're trading around 5. That's a little too rich.
Yeah.
On a Wednesday, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Anyways. Yeah, VK, you're right. I'm watching the 980s. They've depreciated as it's pushing higher for now. So good eye there, mate. At least it was on the list, and some of you might have caught it, so it's all good.
I'm
PLTR,
waiting to see if. Sorry.
No, go ahead, Avi.
I'm waiting to see if we're able to break VIX 19 to get a move lower to about 18. If that were to happen, I think we have a clear path to 6,800 on SPX today. So we could see a big squeeze, fast movement.
This monkey watch spot.
Yeah, watch 650 on spot.
On SPX, it's an attempt at a failed breakdown of yesterday's lows here. Obviously, we have the overnight session to consider, but if that holds, could be a nice bounce, as Ivy said.
Yeah, so the center of the straddle is at 71, and that gives us room to potentially 6,800 on the upside, and above 6,800, we could see 6,828. Failure to move above 6670 on the downside, and along with the VIX spiking back up, we could potentially see, overnight lows, which were right around 6620, I believe.
Spot looks good. Testing the 200-day moving average here around 649.
I would also keep an eye on Tesla. Tesla likes to give back some of the day's gains and then just push really hard.
Guys, I'm looking at SPX calls here. I'm looking at that 68.10 call around 4 here. Probably like it better around 350 or so, 350. CAT is moving, guys. CAT. Guys just got in here. SPX 6810 calls. 3 contracts. Small count challenge.
It's a nice pop on Uber here. It's a good turn. It still needs to get through yesterday's highs though to avoid a choppy inside day. So we got a good entry. Premiums are moving about 20% or so, 15-20%. The key would be if we get through 95, I'll be more convinced that it can trend today toward that 97.
Apple turning.
You say Apple? Sorry.
Apple turning nicely, yeah.
Okay.
Nvidia as well.
Like a 20-second delay response.
McDonald's pushing the PM highs, guys, after earnings. Eli Lilly 325 rejection here. Sorry, 925 rejection for now. Give that a little time. Let those premiums go down a bit.
SPX still holding that 67, 64, but VIX at 19. Premiums are pretty expensive. Still early yet too. Nice push on Uber.
They're actually they're pretty weak right now. The premium is 68 tenths. They're I mean, we've moved like 5 or so points in it. They're pretty much flat.
Yeah.
So not totally in love with this, but it's a good area that I want to try to go off, and if it breaks, maybe I'll cut them.
Yeah. Guys, I'm selling a quarter Uber here at 119 from 91 cents, roughly 25%. So we just retested that 95, taking a small position. So if it fails, that'll just be basically a hedge against an L. But if it reclaims 95, it would be looking great. And my expectation would be a trend move towards 97.
Okay, data coming in here now, guys. PMI is a little bit lower than expected. VIX coming off the 19 check back, going red, or staying red. Eli Lilly breaking higher now. Eli Lilly breaking out, guys.
Guys, if you want to avoid the volatility and aren't able to trade futures, you can always trade like UPRO shares or something like that. Some of those products can be good for day trading. Like I like you trading longs off the 67, 64 here. See if those premiums move for you, Space Monkey.
They're terrible.
Yeah. And we're not really seeing the VIX budge yet, but that could change if we get, in the next 15 minutes. Hopefully that changes. Gamma positioning
75 will be
remains
a big
very
test.
thin. Sorry, go ahead.
75 SPX will be a big test here. 75. NVIDIA back to the highs. Watch 200 recovery on NVIDIA.
Uber, nice pop through the opening high. It's a good sign. Premiums popped a bit there, up about 40%. I'm holding for the bigger picture, but you can always secure more profits if you want. I'm just going to follow the plan. I would be raising stops to low of day, though, at this point. So original stop was 92.50, 92.40. 93.75 would be an updated stop.
All right, guys, I just got filled here. 2/3, I'm out. 2/3. We'll hold one for higher, okay? 2/3 out right now.
Okay, VIX coming down a little bit.
Eli Lilly highs.
Space Monkey, by the way, I have it enabled in the other channel for now, so you don't have to do it for today.
All right, we cut that low, guys. I think that's a pretty good low here. Now, bears will lose this above that 85, 87. Meaning we might see a big fast move towards that 800 plus.
We have a trough in gamma here. Oh, we're actually above it. Okay, this isn't updated just yet. It's a good thing.
John, I'm sorry. Did you say I don't have to post in the
Yep, not today,
the
brother.
chat?
Yeah, you're good.
So just add TWI free alerts.
No, yeah, you don't have to do anything today differently. Just do normal here and then just post on your X. That's it.
All right. Thank you.
Some relative strength in Google, AMD. Weakness in Netflix. Banks lower is actually a positive if tech holds. Amazon sweeping pre-market lows here.
Eli Lilly breaking out. IWM is leading today, guys, out of the three indices I watch at least. IWM is recovering the 50-day moving average at 242. 246 was 244 was previous all-time high. It also marked yesterday's high, so let's see if we can break above that for a bigger move. Guys, AMD red to green offside play here. Needs to hold. If it fails, it's going to get harder.
a little failed breakdown on the RTH session for S&P from yesterday. Playing out nicely. Nice catch on that. The premiums do anything better for you?
Yeah, they're trading around 6+ here, so
Okay.
almost double.
Okay, good. It still
They-
feels
they
a little
pop-
weird, but it's early.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
They moved once we broke that 75.
Yeah.
I would say, yeah. I mean, I think I'm with you, Matej. I think break above 88, 90, where we opened up yesterday. If you can recover that, it's going to be a little bit of a faster move, I would say.
Yeah. And the VIX is coming down, but it's still a little early. I think if we can get through that spot, it's going to start to look better. If VIX can cascade towards like 18, 17. So far, looking pretty good. Nice move on Lily there. It didn't even stop at ATR, right through it. Beast.
Matej, SPX recovering that higher time frame trend line in purple. It's right around where we are right now. It's best to hold. If it does, I think we can start pushing on it.
Okay.
Just keep an eye on the VIX at 18. 18 is very strong support. Once we get to 18, I believe SPX will be at 6,800, so lines up with resistance. Positioning is cluster above 6,800, so it'll be very tough to get above it. So your long, I think, scaling out in that range would be great, leaving some runners there.
Yeah, I only have one now, so I'm just gonna hold it.
Is that move? I have some resistance on AMD at 252. ATR today is 261, so it's a very, very big reclaim if we get back through 252.
Oh yeah, nice move, guys.
There you go.
Nice freaking move. Wonderful.
I wanted to keep it simple with one trade, Space Monkey, but just as an example, the like UPro shares went, were over $1 there, so it's just like another option we called out. If people aren't, confident with the premiums today or something, you can always trade the shares, and you're risking like 20 cents to make $1.
All right, guys, I just got filled here, all out. Just got filled all out. Right at where I want it, all out. And I'll explain what I mean with that. Just give me a second.
68.41. It's +1 ATR on S&P today. There is a scenario where if we can see the position just updated a little bit, so it's very light. It's still very light, so it favors volatility. I think, like Ivy said, 6,800 is going to be very key.
I'm watching
PLTR
a check.
breaking low.
Which one was it?
PLTR.
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 God, it's weak.
Yeah, it's not a great sign. It's a good front side trade though today.
Guys, through 95,800, I think we can see push higher. So there's a 50 on 10 right around this 96 area.
Beautiful move. J Money, what are your thoughts in terms of like the RSI and everything for ES? Anything stand out to you?
It's getting a little extended. It's not bad, and I wouldn't say it's bearish at this point either. I think if we get a push another 20 points direct, it may start to get a little bearish. But considering the overnight sell-off, and we had another dip overnight that helped it, so it's a little hot. It's nothing terrible right now.
Okay.
We have more data in a minute, right?
Yeah, we do. ISM.
Right, yeah. Guys, Uber got a bit stuffed there by 95, so holding for now, but okay to cut and just take small win, break even's fine. If it can't hold, give it a little bit of time here, see what the data does.
McDonald's pushing new highs, guys. McDonald's. HIMS is back to 46, 200-day moving average, up almost 9% today. It's trying to make a little bit of a bottom there on the daily. I'm watching this back test on SPX. I would watch 6820s here for a roll. 6820 calls. I'll buy 2 of those.
New low day PLTR. ATR -1 ATR on PLTR here, 182.15. Just broke below it with pretty good RVOL. So that can act as a pivot. If we stay below that, that could be a nice wash lower. And if it holds,
Guys,
it'll be a better sign for the market.
just got in here, guys. Just got in. Those 320s. Sorry, I added the app tag, John. I know that you've figured that out, but sorry.
You are good, sir.
I keep forgetting to adding the asterisk on the alert.
Actually, a little gap fill on PLTR here at 181.50. 181.56 to be precise. We just tagged that paired with ATR here, so this could be interesting. If it can't hold, I have 176 below. If it does hold, I would still be patient on longs. I'm just more so watching it as a signal for the market. AMD pausing at that 252. Big spot.
Watch LMND above 7160. Like the structure.
72, 74, 69, 77 above resistance. Higher time frame.
Space Monkey making morning update, just FYI.
Cool, thanks, man. Tesla 442 again, guys. 20-day moving average 442. Ugly move back to 440. PM lows. Yeah, Google, nice candle, nice call out, Gorgonzola.
AMD turning red.
Go shorts, right? I'm not looking at the channel.
Yeah, 250 is a psychological level. If we hold above, then
So that 200 on 10. So it's 200 moving average on the 10-minute chart is right at 250, 155 where it turned. So I would say that's an important area to stay below short. Yeah,
Is this-
Google seeing some nice price action here.
This would be a high risk reward long on PLTR. A lot of confluence at this spot. Obviously, if it fails, we can wash to 176 quick. But if this spot holds and reclaims 185, you could see a fast move back to 190. S&P is also trying to hold. If it recovers 6,800, VIX breaking 18, that pairing could be a nice long. But I would consider a bit risky overall, just given the context. It's a bit weaker than other names today so far. Guys, if you follow on the S&P play, UPRO getting almost $1.50, $2 a share, risking 20 cents. Obviously, Space Monkey's SPX longs paying really nicely. This is big resistance here, 6,800. I have 6,807 to be more specific, and then 6,821 above that.
Hey, just got filled here, guys. Sorry, seeing it a little bit late. I was with something else. So just sold half of the 6,820s, guys, into 6,800. So plan panned out nicely. I'll just hold one for that 20-point move above 20 if we could do that. But I don't want to be too heavy into that. I think if we push above 6,800 and then back test and hold, that could be another entry if you're not in these. I think the probably default move is up here.
S&P reacting initially here, 6,800. Gamma positioning largely the same. Uber trying to put in a higher low. If it's going to trend today, that'll hold. If it's not, it's going to fail, and that'll just get flat and revisit it later.
Lastly, there is a large put credit spread down at the 67.20 and 67.15 level. So that trader is quite bullish. He's not expecting price to close in that range.
They were also
So if
there
anybody
yesterday,
likes-
right? At 40. I think it was, wasn't it 40 and 45 or
Yeah, I
something?
believe so.
Yeah. I don't know if it's the same person.
Yep.
but-
So yeah, I don't know who it is, but the position is there. It's bullish. So if you guys like collecting premium, you know that's what they're doing. Our VIX is breaking this support I have here at 1807. Below that, we can cascade lower, and we should see the S&P moving higher. Volume starting to fill. 6810, 6815 strikes.
Six 795 back test here.
And by the way, we're at a 1.5 standard deviation move of the day's range. So normally we should, in theory, see a potential, reversion right around this range, since we are outside the 1 standard deviation move. But I wouldn't fight it until we see that it's actually turning, right? That we have evidence that the market wants to turn lower.
Yeah, let's not fight it, Ivy. Come on.
Yeah, no fighting. It's only Wednesday. Feels like it's 3 p.m. and it's
Fight
only
it
10
on
a.m.
Friday.
Oh boy.
Did someone say it's time to drink? Oh, never mind. Wrong time.
Hey, we're live.
Thank you for that, Ivy.
I'm about to send you a nice text message, all right?
LMND trying to move here. Watch for the breakout.
Nice. That was a good dip and rip off the open too.
I just need to hold above 71 area, otherwise it could trap.
Right.
Yeah, that nice little dip. The dip was to where we kind of spiked into after the numbers and consolidated. Let me take a look at Sarang's channel here, see what he's in.
I'm interested in trying Tesla longs. We're sitting right at support here, this near this 444 area. Could potentially see 456 to 465. I don't know if we see that today, but this is strong support here.
Yeah, it's bouncing off of this 20-day moving average here, Tesla.
It's also trying to put in a failed breakdown of yesterday's lows at the same time.
Right.
I'm not actually tracking the PLTR premiums, but so far it's looking like a nice attempt at a turn. 185 remains big though. I want to see that clear. Still viewing it as more or less a signal for the market here. Somebody mentioned MSTR in the chat. 231, very, very huge support. It's still, about 20 points off of that. But something to set alerts and watch for. Not really interested in it right now. A little bit too slow. It's just in a downtrend for now. Somebody calling out in the chat about 8.5 million in premium went up on the 6885 calls for SPX November.
Hey guys, I'll be back in a little bit.
Okay. LMND looks really good, Sarang. I really like it. Eli Lilly is basically bull flagging near the PM highs as it broke above 915 yesterday's lows. That was beautifully. That was sorry, can't speak. It was a beautifully technical. Sorry, I can't speak today. It was a nice dip and rip. That's what I was gonna say. Nice dip below yesterday's highs, around 915, 916. Held 910, that resistance that we saw yesterday, and then pushed back, consolidated below that 925. Once we got the PMI numbers, I think it saw a nice little break for a 10 plus 10 move. We had the 935 calls yesterday. We moved straight into 935, which was our target. There is some resistance, 935, 938. Above 938, 940, we can see 966 via 950 cycle level. All right, if you want to roll into SPX here, that's the 6,800 rejection. We're pulling back. This is normal. What you want to see hold is 6782, 6788. That zone needs to hold. Otherwise, we could see a bigger push lower. There's a pretty must-hold area here, SPX. Kind of where we topped out end of day yesterday and saw a push lower into low day. The 9 on 10 is right around that 82, 83 area. Yep. Sorts. All right, BE is pushing into highs. BE energy play. It's just holding beautifully, consolidating near all-time highs. This one's turning. Another 11%. All right, BE is accelerating here, you guys. Weesh, SPX, what a beautiful turn right near the 910, guys. Exactly where you need to hold. It did hold. Nice entry, VK. There you go, bud.
Guys, AMD is just kind of basing off that 252. The RSI on 30 was really hot into the level, so it's starting to try and reset a bit. It might take longer, but any little reset and high and tight consolidation breaking could be a really nice play. Just keep watching that 252. Uber, nice higher low so far. The variables for Uber, the playbook trade is a trend move on day 2. So if it's going to work, it'll just trend through 95. And if not, then it'll be basically break even trade. Stop is raised up to low of day.
Watch BE 150s.
Man, what a move.
This is trying to recover the day high after that earnings gap up and go. We topped out right around this area here. So I'm watching that as a pivot for push back up to that last week high. All-time high is 148, which is also a magnet move for me. 150 is very close to there. So with the momentum plus all these levels, I think we can see a nice push. So watch 144. VIX new lows here. BE 145. Psych level. Premium increasing on this pullback on the 150s. SPX above 6,800 attempt here. Lovely 9 on 10 secondary entry there on those 6,800s or 6,820s. BE 145, 148, 150 above. Meta starting to ramp up here as well. Nvidia above 200, pushing that 201.73 resistance above 202.40 could come as well. VIX breaking 18 here. We're at 1780. There's a low from, I believe, yesterday, right around this area. If you can break it, I think we can see 17 handle on that. 17 flat.
PLTR over 185 now on this turn off the lows. Not sure if anyone caught that, but pretty decent so far. Good signal for the market. You'd want to see it hold 185 and S&P break over 6,800. Nice headlines. Space Monkey. We're talking about calls. Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, Warren stock market could correct up to 20%. I never understand headlines like that. It's like, yeah, well, no duh. It could also go up another 5% first too.
Yeah.
So the market will go up or down. Got it.
Right. I just find it funny.
It
That's why I
is.
posted.
Yeah.
Eli Lilly straight into that 938.46 resistance. We haven't talked about CAT. Nice little bounce. It's trying to turn on the daily, recovering that low from earnings.
Okay.
So nice.
So cat. We've got, what was the other one? McDonald's, which obviously had earnings, but let's take a minute now to look at the sector tracker. Energy outperforming, materials outperforming, so a bit of a defensive stance. But tech is up today for now. Utilities are down. A lot of other areas flat. XOM, let's check on that. XOM and CVX weekly, monthly charts continue to stand out. I don't trade oil much. Okay, so CVX is down. Nothing too interesting. BE is just where it's at, obviously. Where did you buy shares again? Like 20, 10, something like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Gosh,
Sub 30, 20 something.
it's crazy. Oklo trying to hold that trend line on the daily. This is why I mentioned on the pre-market call, I'm just kind of in observation mode with a lot of these. I need to see if sentiment gets worse or if the dip just gets bought, because timing is always the challenge with these types of plays. What are some of the other ones? So we have BE, LEU, right? SMR. What's MP doing? Okay, so that was one I called out over the weekend under 6140. I totally missed that. That was a nice, very, very clean breakdown. Jeez. I need to add that to the database. It doesn't get any easier than that. 6140 was so defined. Dang, why'd I miss that?
If you can't catch them all,
I
can't catch them all.
guess.
Yeah, I think SPX is gonna break here soon, guys. Just a matter of time. At least 7-8 points, and then possibly 20. Above 20, forget about it.
Forget about it.
Not trying to hype it up, but they're gonna be a lot of players just like caught after the last couple days. Meta resistance 639, 642, 650 is hugely important. 650, 651, and then you can see a big push into 678, 680.
LMND, nice move.
Yeah, that one is 74.69 and above.
The orb entry really works nice on LMND.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You're like Lemonade Pro.
You are a
That's right.
lemonade, bro.
Oh, Eli Lilly new highs, guys, moving to 950 here.
MP, man.
Yeah. I had those 935 yesterday. I should have maybe swung, but it broke below 900, and I was like, I'm just gonna cut. But really nice, that's one-time framing higher, as we talked about, guys. For everybody new, Eli Lilly is actually a fantastic example of that. Just a couple catalysts, and it's not slowing down, which is incredible, right? Like every candle so far has been incredibly, wide ranged, which is just like, okay, it's not stopping. It doesn't look like it's stopping until all-time highs at least. And at that point, if we break, it's 1,000 at least. So this 940 area is hugely important. We can see definitely move to 972 in the next few days. Yeah, very nice. Very nice play.
UPST working nicely. I took a front side shot around that 42 area.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I mean, it's looking pretty heavy here. Beautiful.
Yeah,
Negative 15%.
I'm just targeting low of the day like 38.5 and maybe below that 36 as mentioned in the pre-market.
Guys, I think break of 6800. Watch those 6820s if you still want in. I think they're still pretty active here. I'm loving the little pullback, the consolidation, gathering some energy for higher. If we can break 6800, I think it could happen. Let's see. Eliminate. Very nice push here off this 72. Nice try. Trump is live. Sixty-eight 20s are moving now. I'd like to see about 5-10 points move here. SPX, just to get away from this 800 magnet. All right, Eli Lilly testing 945, moving towards that 950. 966 should come today if we continue like this. SPX taking a little long to break here, which is not the best. But Trump is out there speaking. Lemonade, LMND, tagging 74, 74.69 above. Break of 75, 77, 79 above that. It is up almost 30 on the day, 30%. PLTR recovering the 20-day 185 here. NVIDIA pushing 201.73. Resistance 202.32 would be extension. Harder resistance 202, but holding 200 is very, very good. You have the VIX making new lows here around 1769. AMD failed to hold green on the red to green move. Lemonade CEO being interviewed on CNBC right now. You have it moving into that 74.69. PLTR recovering yesterday's lows.
Getting pretty slow here, huh?
Yeah, not a whole lot is going on exactly. Kind of things slowing down. I mean, you have some movers. It's like Nvidia, nice little candle here. But as far as SPX is concerned, it's just digesting, which is okay, right? But 6,800 is resistance for now.
Space Monkey, I sent you a message if you can check it out in admin.
Might have just stepped away.
Okay.
Specs
Watch
back lower
AMD.
here. AMD. Oh,
AMD
nice
is
candle.
trying to like, yeah, trying to form like a flag-like structure.
Yeah.
And 247 was the previous day low. We bounced exactly from there.
Yeah. Yeah, looks good. Tesla bouncing nicely back green as well off the lows. Nvidia pushing higher as well. So seeing a little bit of a bid in some of these semis. NU making new highs as well, up almost 8%, 9% today. NU testing this week high, which is around 237, 238. Our AMD here is starting to look more and more like a proper offside play after that attempt to push it lower and holding. So inclined to look at the 255's upside mover. Big move here back to the high of day, AMD. I don't know, semiconductors are moving. This makes me feel like there's news. Somebody said something. NVIDIA pushing 202 here now. I don't see anything, just speculating. NU's pushing, AMD's pushing, NVIDIA's leading.
I'm not seeing news.
This just feels very coordinated, so.
Little 9 on 10 coordination there, maybe.
Maybe.
Matei, when are you interested in like Oklo or INQ for shares if start to show signs of a bounce? Where do you stand with those names? I know they're very weak now and kind of in observation mode, but just curious.
Like for a
People are
swing.
looking- Yeah, for a swing.
I mean, to me, this is like Oklo is. I wouldn't. This is a very important spot. So like technically, it's trying to hold and reclaim the trend line on the daily after it's kind of getting caught off sides from yesterday's move, which is good. So like if you like it, you could just risk yesterday's low, but it's a pretty important spot here actually. So if these aren't done yet, this could be a pretty nice trap and reclaim on the higher time frame.
Cool, man. Thank you.
Yeah. Under 107, that's like a high conviction short for me.
Yep. So you kind of have like a 20-point buffer of conviction. Yeah, downwards. Got it.
Yeah, but you could even use like 114, 115 if you like it here, because like if this is a very big spot if it holds. So
Watch AMD, guys. $256 target above high a day. AMD's trying to accelerate here. SPX back above. AMD now an offside play, proper offside play. See if he can sustain. Guys, I just got in 255 calls AMD here. 255 calls AMD. Stop is 50%, or if you go red, okay? Regular account. Goes red, I'll cut these. One, two, three, four, 6 attempts to break above 6,800, failing. Lemonade breaking 75, 77 above 79 as well.
We have a peak in gamma here at 6,800. It's
Yeah, I
kind
think we
of
can.
holding us. There's decent position at 6810. So if we can finally pop through it, expect at least a 10-point pop. SM, if you get a second to check your DMs. Fed Marin, if that's how you say it, saw a headline: increasing uncertainty about tariffs could create economic drag. Don't we have pretty good clarity after last week, or am I under a rock? Just got like the biggest phase one agreement that just came out. Why is like that's just a random headline to me?
Yeah, it's pretty random, man. It's just so many headlines. You just have to kind of
Yeah,
ignore.
for sure. All right, guys, we are on as far as the live. We go live in the Discord pretty much all day with some breaks worked in, but we're gonna look to cut off the public live stream. Before we do so, if you guys have any questions or chart requests or anything, let us know. I'll wait just a couple minutes. In review for the session, since it's a little bit slower, it's pretty good amount of opportunities, I would say, off the open. Space Monkey, feel free to chime in whenever. S&P 67, 64 yet again held from yesterday, and of course you have the context of the overnight session, selling off 40 plus points, 50 points or so, and recovering. So we, in the regular session hours with just SPX, we technically put in a little bit of a failed breakdown right at the open at that key level, and that led to a nice push to 6,800, which Space Monkey traded really nicely. And then let's see, what else? Let's say AMD. If you've kind of, I don't know when did this actually turn green though? To like 250. So didn't really do too much if you took the red green move yet. This 252 is a big overhead resistance, which you're actively looking to catch this now. So we'll see if this can accelerate 257, 261 above. Were there any other trades worth reviewing? Uber, I'm still holding this. I'm about to cut this, but I'm giving it a second. Sometimes you'll get this move where you kind of go like this and then consolidate and turn higher for trend plays. If it can't hold this, though, then I'd just rather be flat and take break even to small loss on that. Caught 20%. They did get up as much as 50%, but I was holding for the bigger picture. I think my headset just turned off. What the heck? Sorry, guys, one sec. Okay, there we go. So on Uber, just gonna give this a little bit of time. Eli Lilly, that was really nice. I would say a nuance that we look for on this was the hidden RSI divergence, which we did catch a little bit late. I know you were watching this from the open, Space Monkey, but had you had that piece of information, which normally we do a little bit sooner, probably would have caught that play. Essentially, the RSI, if you look on like the 30-minute here, on this dip in the pre-market, got more oversold than at this prior dip. If you reference the dip from yesterday, you're actually higher, price is higher, but it's much more oversold. So it just shows that there's energy available. That's something that we look for when timing the open. So you had this quick sweep and turn straight into 931 pre-market highs, also plus one ATR. Volume very good today, so that gives you some kind of reason to believe it can get beyond that 931, which it did. A couple other setups out there, a couple other charts we'll review. But we'll do that kind of as the session goes on. So if you want to stick with us, trade with us, we trade all day. We review, answer questions. The chat's active pretty much the whole session. So we kind of just take it, take questions live and trade live with everybody. If you're interested in that, you can grab a trial on the WAP page. Just check out our bio on X, and you'll find information there on how to get into the room if you want to check us out risk-free. Otherwise, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you all, and we're going to cut off the live. Have a great day. See ya.